OMGPOP was the home to a handful of well-crafted browser-based games, a majority of them being multiplayer. It was home to classics such as Draw My Thing and Balluno, and was a big part of 2000s kids' childhoods. But now, trying to access the website in 2024 brings up nothing. A website home to hundreds and thousands of users per day, seemingly gone out of nowhere. So what happened to OMGPOP? Before we start, remember to subscribe. I talk about video games on this channel, whether it's looking at the history behind gaming's greatest failures or reviewing games in their own individual videos. I also explore the darkest corners of the World Wide Web in my Internet Mystery series, and I live stream from time to time right here on this channel. If any of that interests you, feel free to join our community. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. So let's start off with what OMGPOP was. OMGPOP was a website that featured a handful of original games for users to play. It also took inspiration from popular social media sites at the time such as MySpace, Tumblr, and Twitter to create not just a game website, but a communal environment online. The games weren't just Flash games, they were completely original games with a few offering multiplayer functionality. Balluno, Pool, and the ever-popular Draw My Thing. Draw My Thing originated on OMGPOP and would later get its own mobile port on iOS devices. The aim of the game is that one person would get a word, they would have to draw a picture of that word to the best of their ability, and the other players would have to guess it. It was arguably the killer app of the website, and as mentioned before, it would get so popular that it was ported to iOS devices. Balluno was another popular one, not to be confused with Balloons, as this game did feature cartoon monkeys and had a name related to balloons, but this game was sort of like Bomberman essentially. There was also Pool and Knockoff Uno and Connect 4, you get the gist of it. But above all else, Draw My Thing reigned supreme. Another mobile game titan at the time was Words with Friends. This Scrabble-like mobile game was similar to Draw My Thing, which went under the name Draw Something when it released on mobile. Words with Friends was very similar. It was a word game, it utilized asynchronous multiplayer, and it was easy to join and play with others as it featured Facebook compatibility. Words with Friends was owned by Zynga, a large competitor in the browser-based multiplayer game scene, and was marching on to conquer the mobile game market. Zynga is the company behind the aforementioned Words with Friends, various poker titles, Farmville, and many more games. Words with Friends and Draw Something were big rivals, fighting against each other for higher up places on the App Store charts, but you know what they say, if you can't beat them, absorb their company. That's right, Zynga decided to purchase the OMGPOP brand and thus owned the rights to Draw Something. With its popularity and the beginning of the downfall of browser-based gaming, Zynga went full force in pushing Draw Something and other mobile games and ended up shutting down OMGPOP's website in an effort to cut costs to fuel their mobile game empire. Zynga would shut down OMGPOP in 2013, leaving a massive community dispersed across the internet and a handful of well-crafted games thrown into the pits of lost media. Now, in 2024, the website's non-existent. I'm willing to put money on the fact that there are Draw Something players who don't even know what OMGPOP is. Now, it's just a distant memory in the minds of 2000s kids.